the show seems to be a bit all over the place and a bit unfocused. Because the first episode, it was about Cassian trying to find his sister, and that plotline is just now coming back. A plotline they set up in episode 1 is coming back in episode 7. Where I was, to the point where I actually forgot, I was like, oh yeah, he's looking for his sister, isn't he? They didn't really bring that up until now. But this episode did have a lot of emotion to it, and some pretty heart-wrenching and dark moments. Particularly the scene where Cassian has a flashback to when his friend was killed at an Empire parade, and when his mother is saying how she can't even drive through that area anymore because she always pictures his hanging body. That was a really good scene. And we can see how the Empire's actions have really affected Cassian and his family. And even when Cassian is just standing in the area where his friend was killed, he starts to freak out when he hears the marching of the stormtroopers behind him. That shows how the Empire has sort of affected his mental state. There's a little bit of PTSD from that. I also really liked the scene where he's on the beach and Cassian starts being interrogated by that sand trooper. And then the sand trooper calls in the Imperial droid to keep an eye on Cassian. And that droid, of course, it's not K2SO, but it's the same type of droid as K2SO. And that was a nice little callback to that. I really liked that. And it makes me hopeful that Alan Tudyk might get back for the show, but I don't know. The final scene of this episode, which was one of the best scenes because it was just so intense, involves a flashback where Cassian was on trial for simply being accused of thinking badly of the Empire. The final scene of this episode involves a flashback where Cassian is on trial for simply being accused of just thinking badly of the Empire. And he gets 10 years, even though previously they say that the sentence before this was 10 months, but we moved it to 10 years. Emperor's orders. It was a terrifying parallel to a real-world history where people were put on trial by Nazi Germany for anything that they deemed fit. And even though that scene was a flashback, and we know that he gets out of it, and it's his show, it was still an exciting way to end the episode. It does seem, however, that after last week's thrilling TIE Fighter chase, this episode was a bit of a step down. But perhaps that's in order to give the audience a chance to cool down before the action picks up again next week, but we'll see. I'm still invested in the show. I still managed to find things I appreciate about it, even in the slower episodes. But story-wise, it really needs to start finding its focus.